Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Launchpad Reseller Podcast. My name is Bob. I'm the Rocket City Reseller, and we are your mission control for all things reselling. Whether you've been selling for 20 minutes or 20 years, we are sure that you can learn something with us together.
Somebody's talking. Hey. I can't hear anybody.
Oh, audio.
Now she can't. Everybody's in the middle. Can't.
So, I do this thing with two of my co-hosts, Ellie, Tennessee Treasures, and Ashley Sheshed 244. And we have the pleasure today of having the juggernaut that is KnoxNextDoor, live reselling from Whatnot and all the things for Plush.
Not hearing.
Can you guys hear okay? Audio check.
I'm good. Mom,
I heard that.
Okay, great. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
I think they can only hear me. Can you only hear me, Mom?
Typical StreamYard. So if Mom wants to do the same thing and drop and come back, she can. That might actually help. So
here.
That's so weird.
Okay, so if you want to go ahead and try to communicate.
Whoever said that, then tell her to leave because she doesn't hear.
Everybody at the same time. Mom, leave and come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can hear
out and then come
yes,
back
I can
in.
hear you.
Can you exit and come back in the same way Kim did a moment ago? You can hit the red button at the bottom and then use the same link to come back in.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hopefully that works.
I'm going to reintroduce everybody.
Yeah, that's what they're
doing. I'm not going to. But as soon as Mom's back in, we'll get started while Mom's
we can start.
Yeah, sure. So we wanted to just first of all thank you all for coming in and being with us on the podcast. We all met each other actually through Whatnot. So we have a community that we formed in partnership. And hey, Mom, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now. Yes.
I'm gonna call you Mom. I know your name's.
She goes by Mama Knox, so that works.
Mama Knox. I'm Mama Knox.
Mama Knox. Well, we're glad that you can hear me now. What I was saying is that we wanted to thank you all for being here. We have been in the Whatnot community. We met through Whatnot, all of us, Ashley, myself, and Ellie. And we decided to do this podcast to be a community of practice for all resellers, regardless of where you sell, whether that be Whatnot, eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, you get the drift. So basically, we wanted to come together, give a safe place for people to tell their story in reselling, promote their businesses, connect with other like-minded resellers, and just grow together. So that's kind of the mission for our particular podcast. So we thank you for being a part of that.
Definitely.
So, thank you. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So I know that you guys are on Whatnot, and as soon as we decided to do this podcast, we were going through like a short list of everybody who we would love to see on here. And you guys are right at the top of that list. So we are super excited that you decided to do this thing with us.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into it, right? So I know Jamie, you're gonna be the vocal.
I think so. I think I'm the designated talker.
She's the talker.
In the shows, out of the shows, it doesn't matter. So
yeah. So why don't you tell us about KnoxNextDoor? Tell us about who you are as a brand, who you are as a family, who you are in the space, where you are in the world, etc. Let's get into the details.
In the world,
how you started.
So
yeah, it's global now.
A little backstory on who we are. My name's Jamie. This, I guess, whichever way. This is Kim, my sister, and then my mom, Mama Knox or Cindy. Obviously, we're a family-owned business. This is Tori, and I'll kind of explain who she is in a second. But we are a family-owned business. Knox is our last name. So everybody always says, do you live in Knoxville? No, that is our name. So KnoxNextDoor came about in January of 2024. That's when we started on Whatnot. We kind of started because my mom and I were doing, we had a different business together. I was a stay-at-home mom. My sister was a stay-at-home mom. My mom was still working full-time. My mom and I had another business together doing like personalization, sublimation, things like that. And we were really burnt out. And my sister and I used to be on the phone for like 2-3 hours every single day because we had little kids at home, right? And we were just like talking, and Kim was selling, and she has a whole different kind of unique path to get to where we are. But Kim was selling on eBay and had been selling on eBay for 20 years, just doing resale,
Showing
like
my
just,
age.
going to yard sales,
Your
that
age,
kind of
my
stuff.
age.
And Kim is, I'm the younger sister. I'm like very outgoing,
Kim's
as you
the
can tell.
oldest.
And that's the joke in our show too. But we're on the phone and she's like, hey, like I heard about this thing, whatnot. And, Tim and I, which is her husband, she's like, we started this, we started, maybe we're going to think about doing it, selling in Disney. And they have a channel that's separate from Knox, which is Second Star Exchange. So you guys should check them out too, which they were in the Disney category for a long time. And so she said it, but we've done 1 or 2 shows and Jamie, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. She didn't want to get on the camera, nothing. She's like, what if we all did it together? She said, do you think mom would be on board? I was like, I don't know. I was so burnt out when we were doing. So I called my mom and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And we thought we were going to be clothing sellers. Okay. So like mom and I were in like a sales world as far as like, making custom items, but not in this type of world, definitely not in reselling. But the reason why we got started and we thought we were going to sell clothes. We were clothing sellers for a total of 2 days. Okay. Because we are not clothing sellers, and bless all those people that are, but like, the amount of things that they have to check just blows my mind. Okay. Right. So we thought we were going to be clothes sellers. We decided we abandoned ship. But the reason why we kind of fell into Plush is because in 2018, when Squishmallows were at their highest, right? There was brand boom of Squish. I was on bed rest with my middle daughter. And so we started personalizing Squishmallows in 2018. So we would get vinyl, we press names onto Squish, and I paid for Christmas. I was on bed rest and I paid for Christmas. My daughter was born 3 days after Christmas, but I paid for Christmas that year personalizing Squish. And actually it was funny because like probably a month before we started on Whatnot, I had a garage sale and I had all these Squish just out there. And this guy walks up and he goes, what are you doing with all those? And I was like, selling them? Like, I'm done with all this. And he's like, oh, I sell on a site called Whatnot. And I was like, really? I said, my sister just told me about that. He said, yeah, every time I have a Squish on the back, I sell clothes, right? He sold clothes. But every time I have a Squishmallow on the back of my shelf, somebody's like, how much is that? Can I get that? So he bought like 100 from me at this garage sale. A month later, here we are selling Squish. And I'm like, I wish I had those 100 back.
No.
I know, and I sold them for like what, like $3 a piece?
Like probably like $2
Nothing.
a piece, like nothing, right?
Nothing.
Because I was just getting rid of them.
To get rid of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we spent the next year after that. I mean, we started with a bunch of random Plush, right? Kim had stuff that she had listed on eBay. She took down off eBay, and it just became the 3 of us, really. And we started with 3 days a week. We were streaming 3 days a week. We were doing mostly a lot of Squishmallows, right? But random Plush as well. And we would leave every show and I'd be like, man, if we could get 10 sales or if we could get 10 people, like if we could get whatever. And then people would like keep coming back. And I was like, why do these people like us? Like, what's wrong? Like why do they like us? Like, they really like us. And,
like me, they really like me.
But we just, that's how I felt. Like. Because, and people were like, you guys can't be like this outside of, do you really do this all, is this how you really are? And like, we kind of kept saying, no, this is truly our authentic selves. And we hope that we have shown that over the last 2.5 years of being on Whatnot, that truly like the Jamie, the Kim, the mom that you see like on the shows, that's who you're going to see and experience outside of shows as well. Maybe we look a little bit calmer during shows, like what you see behind the scenes sometimes. But like we just tried to show up authentically, provide a product, and hopefully allow people to trust us, right? That we aren't going to take you for all your worth. We're not going to, try to but we were also building a business, right? And so that balance of learning to do that, and I think that's where reselling too, it's really complicated, is because it is an art, right? And so you have to value your time and your knowledge and your experience of finding a product and being able to place it and put it in the hands of a customer that's looking for it. And you have to be able to make some money in there to do that, right? But that always feel like it was always so hard for us, right? Because we just wanted to buy our best friends things and be like, we know you love this, here are the things. But also learning how to put back into the business and those kind of things so that we could continue every single day. So that kind of, and I'm going to kind of skip around and I know we'll come back and touch on different points, but that kind of took us to where we ended up last May. And last May, Squishmallows were still selling, but there was a lot of Squishmallow sellers, right? There were a lot of people that were doing exactly what we were doing. And it's not that, and we had a great community. We were supporting each other at this point in time. We were hosting a community chat once a week, and we were also hosting a raid train once a week to try to help develop, newer sellers. We still felt very, very small in that big Whatnot world. We had a lot of great sellers pour into us too at the beginning. And so that was our way of hoping that we could give back, because we had some great people that poured into us. And then last May we made a pivot and we went a different route where we went, and now we have built from one retail brand to now we have 6 retail brands that we sell on Whatnot. And all of those are amazing brands. All of them had different challenges as far as navigating, getting in and getting involved and all of those kind of things and selling their product. But it has been a whole different world. And a lot of people, especially I don't feel like one way of selling is easier than the other, right? Do I really want to go out? Some people love the hunt, and there's a whole different world of going out and finding the things and loving all of the hunting and the searching and finding different products and finding that gem. And then there's also this other side of things of retail, of wholesale, to where now I'm having to invest a lot of money at one time, right? And hope that it all comes back to me rather than a smaller, slower, but okay, I can take this money I made today and go find something tomorrow. So we're very, very proud of the business that we have built. We have a long way to go. We have a lot of improvements that we want to make on our end. A lot of goals we have. But I think that, we've developed an amazing community. We have a great group of people. We grew from having 5 people in our show to now we can hold 60, 70 people in our show in the Plush world, which is crazy. And so we're very, very, very proud. But this community, our community, all of us having this Plush community too, I think is a really special place, especially on Whatnot. And so we're just grateful to be a part of it. So
there's so much to unpack there.
I know. Sorry. Don't tell me to shut up sometimes, okay?
No, I'm kind of
sometimes.
Never.
I'm like, okay, I got question 1, question 2, question 3. So I guess I don't know if Jake want to explain it, or it's a little
frozen.
Nope, we got you.
No, you're good.
You're back. You're back.
Okay. So Kim, you've been selling on eBay for a long time. Did you start off on there selling Plush as well, or how did that look?
I guess it was around 2002. I had my first child, and I was just really reselling his clothes just to make any type of money. My ex-husband at the time was in the military. We were newly married, had no money. And so it was really just to make just a little bit of extra to help pay bills. And as time went on, I realized, hey, I can get some of this stuff at the thrift store. So I started buying children's clothes at the thrift store and then turning around and selling them online, which then developed into, I had probably a 3,000 item eBay store at one point, but it was all different things, from Plush to
everything.
It was just an everything seller. If I could make money on it, it was going on eBay. Yeah. So, and that lasted until, I still have a eBay, but I'm not very active on it. There's about 600 items in that store right now until we found Whatnot.
Yeah. And you love to go thrifting. You loved at that time to go thrifting.
We do still go hunt for things, and occasionally we'll have a type of show like that on Whatnot where, things that we found thrifting. And I still do occasionally list things on eBay and stuff like that too. But yeah, that I really, really enjoyed thrifting. My husband probably even more so than I do.
Yeah, I love that. We're all thrifters here, so we get it.
Yeah.
At what point how did you find Whatnot? And then how did you guys pivot from selling used items to wholesaling Plush?
I'm trying to, it was probably from YouTube, probably watching somebody, either I saw it on Philly Flipper's show, or maybe something with Jen's Multiverse, because I quickly became, friends with her. So I don't know exactly how I found it exactly. But, and so I told my husband about it, and I was like, hey, let's check out Whatnot. And he thought it was great. He's very outgoing. I am very shy, in real life. I'm like, let's hide behind the camera. So we kind of started with just all of our eBay stuff. So it was a bunch of random things. We were, I was hiding over here. We sat right here at this table. I hid on the side as he like showed things on camera. And so it was just a bunch of random things. And then it was like, okay, we'll do some plush. And somehow we wound up in the Disney category. My husband and I are like huge Disney lovers, and we wound up in the Disney category. And it was when it had just taken off. It was huge. They were playing all sorts of games, you know, at the time that were allowed. And we grew really, really quickly. At the same time, we started Knox, right? You know, we started Knox in January. I kind of took a little bit of a break on Whatnot and focused more with Knox. And then spring, summer is when we started in the Disney category, and it took off and we grew really, really quickly. It was just, I don't know. The rules changed for games. People were kind of not doing what I felt was good. And so I left the Disney category at that point.
Were y'all doing games at all?
We were doing a lot of games, but we were having, I feel like, to me, my games were very fair. Like, you weren't going to walk away with a 50-cent drawstring bag no matter what. I don't want to hate on anybody, but like, you know, that's kind of how, and once that kind of took over, I just didn't feel comfortable doing those style games anymore. So we kind of took a step back from the Disney category.
Those games got a bad rap for sure.
Right. Yeah. And we really focused more with Knox.
Lots changed over the years on Whatnot for sure.
Right. Yes. So I think the transition really from like reselling, or especially like Squishmallow world, where we kind of made the pivot to really Douglas and Aurora is where we kind of started. We and I saw somebody said, do we do like direct sales or wholesale? We work directly with the companies that we sell for. So we don't work for them. So we do buy from them at a wholesale price. You know, there's definitely challenges. We had to claw our way, when I tell you, with some of these brands, because they didn't and still don't, I wouldn't say fully understand live selling. Because a lot of these brands are very protective of what they do, how they sell. We have very specific pricing that we have to stick to, those kind of things. And so that transition, it felt like we got in for the first couple like pretty easy, and then we hit a wall with a few brands that we really wanted to work with. For example, I mean, Squishable, we talked to them for over 6 months.
Wow.
So I mean, it was a very uphill battle to get into some of these things. They weren't just like, oh yes, because what it really is a lot of brands, I think, and I'm sure this is the way in clothes and toys and in, you know, other collectibles and in plush as well, is a lot of these brands really want you to have a brick and mortar. And if you don't have a brick and mortar, they will not work with you.
That's all they understood. That's all they understand.
Right.
A lot of them too.
So for Douglas, we are the first live selling business that they partnered with.
Amazing.
And actually, and now we are considered kind of a premier line for them. Like we have like a kind of a special account with them, so we get a lot of like special support and stuff. And we really developed that relationship. We went to, and I highly encourage this if you are a business that is just or you're thinking about going into a wholesale world, is to, I mean, there are restrictions on how you can go to attend these events, but if you can go to a market that's in your area, there's some in Texas, there's some in Las Vegas. We have them in Atlanta, to where we went to Atlanta market in January. And that allowed us to get face to face with some of these brands. Squishable was there, Warmies were there, people that were hard for us to talk to, and they didn't really understand our story via email. You know, and we're going back and forth trying to work with them, but we got in front of them and we said, hey, let us tell you our story. Hey, here's an example of what we do. Let us show you our platform. Let us talk to you face to face, which we would never have been able to do if we didn't attend those events. So we are getting to go back in June to Atlanta market as well, to kind of, you know, we actually took our community along with us. We did some giveaways and stuff while we were at Atlanta market. And so we got to sit down, even with Douglas, we were already working with them, but being able to sit and talk, we talked to the executive sales directors of the company, and like, you know, getting backstories and sharing our story. And then, you know, it's just building relationship building as far as, you know, and don't assume just because somebody said this can't be done, that it can't be done, you know, and that's what I kind of sharing before, I think on Whatnot, people buy from a seller, right? People, it's the same way when you're trying to work and find people to work with you, you know, depending on no matter what you sell. But yeah, so we made that transition, and I think it's definitely been challenging. You know, there's definitely challenges to it. It's not like, oh, just, you know, oh, I just have this brand and I can just buy this stuff and then turn around and sell it.
Right.
It definitely brings a whole new level of challenges, I think, when you go this route.
Yeah. And I kind of want to say that, you know, when we made that transition, because Whatnot's an auction site. So many people start, you know, the dollar starts. That was always a big thing. You know, now you hear people say, you know, don't start at $1, start at $5. Well, going into the retail side of it, and we can't start at $1 or $5 or, you know, I mean, we have items
Even
for
like
$10, but we're at a retail level.
Right.
So, you know, the fear with me with that at the beginning was, you know, are people going to be able and want to sell or purchase at the retail level when they feel that this is an auction site, especially people that have been on Whatnot for a long time. So, but I don't think we felt or, you know, really experienced that at the very beginning. I mean, even now, sometimes people will say, well, will you take 15 for it, not 25 for it? You know, of course, we tell them they can't. But we made, you know, we had everybody look at us like you're walking into a retail store. You're walking into our retail store. You know, take a look around. You know, you can put things in your cart, your shopping cart. And if you don't walk out with everything, well, that's fine too. Or, you know, and, you know, we have multiple of the same item. If you can't get it today, well, you come back tomorrow. You know, we're a store, we're a retail store, a live streaming retail store. And for us, it's been working really well.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You answered the question without me having to ask. you read
That's
my mind.
follow-up too,
Yeah.
So, I mean, for anybody that's listening that's thinking about Whatnot, and I've touched on this before, there really is no right or wrong way to run your business.
Right.
Some people do $1 starts and they, you know, they have the inventory to be able to do that and still come out okay.
Right.
And sometimes if you can't do that, it's okay to start at what you need it to start at. So that you guys are doing retail on Whatnot is amazing. That's like a breakthrough.
And I'll say too, I think that transition maybe wasn't as hard for us because when we first started, and I actually used to encourage new sellers to not do this because they'll say, well, I just want to start everything at $1 because I want to hit 1,000 sales. Well, then what are you teaching your customer? I mean, it's customer education, right? Like, what are you then teaching your customer that once you hit 1,000 sales, you're no longer going to do that? And because now you're trying to make a living, you're trying to pay for your groceries, you're trying to replace an income, whatever that may look like. And now you've told your customers for the past 90 days or however long took to get you there, you say, oh yeah, I started $1. Then they come back and you're like, oh no, now it's 10. And they're like, wait, what? Like, so I think it's also just about deciding what type of store you want to have, whether you're in the wholesale world like us and we can't change the prices, but even in the resale world, like you just don't, like I kind of said at the beginning, you have to learn to value your time and your knowledge and your expertise and all of that matters or else everybody would be doing it, right? And everybody would be good at it. And so I think it's about, you know, you don't have to start there from the beginning, even if you're not wholesale.
Your people will find you.
Yeah, I said it a million times. When you're not selling an item, you're selling an emotion.
Yeah.
So when you're selling Plush, it's very much so that all the time. I mean, you can equate that to anything like cars, whatever.
Right.
But with Plush specifically, you're selling an emotion and a connection. Yeah. I think you guys built that, and I'm a firm believer that you built that, and you built that from the beginning. It didn't just come from the wholesale stuff. So I think that really helped y'all's journey. Or at least that's what it looks like from the outside in.
Yeah.
You know, we've been partnering, you know, we've rated you guys multiple times. We've been a part of that community and supported you along the way. So, man, I can't tell you how excited I am that you're here. For real.
Well, first, that gets me all choked up because you know, this started, I mean, definitely like for me personally, the reason now of even why I do this has shifted, of course. I think even for all three of us, it has. But at the end of the day, we are truly, and we try to put out there that we're customer first. And so like any types that we ever make a mistake, like we're going to make it right. Like if we're, like we truly believe we are, try to get back to our rewards program. I mean, we totaled up the money that we gave that, like, it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, like you have that shell shock of like how much money in rewards, but it's like, but at the same time, like, we would never change it. We would never change it. We would never pull it away. We would never, I mean, if anything, we keep trying new ways that we can give back to our community and give back to our customers, because if they don't show up, we don't get to do this, right? Like we don't get to talk in the chat. I'll send them.
Yeah, you
see, Tori's telling
here.
How do you see? I can't see the chat.
There's like little buttons on the side, Mom, that have like little she
either.
wrote in the
You'll
Discord
see.
that if they talked in the chat, she was gonna send them a coupon.
Oh, no, I'm like, they're
Fantastic.
showing up over here.
Oh,
They
That's
love
right,
Tori
that
because
Now let's talk about Tori.
Way to go.
Now's
Yeah.
the chance, because Tori's a genius.
yeah, there
Yes.
you go. They all love Tori, trust me. They all love
Oh, I
Tori.
love that.
So let's
Love that.
talk about it, because that's an
Yeah.
excellent strategy, Tori.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
you. I love the business part of what this podcast is about. Let's
Mhm.
talk about that now. That was a strategy. That was a thing. You guys,
Yeah,
let's
so,
talk strategy. Let's talk Tori.
You want to talk? You want to?
Yeah.
She hates to talk.
Well,
she'll type
tell-
in that Discord all the time.
Tell how
But Tori, you're a
tell
genius.
how Tori came about.
Okay, so Tori, if anybody, so and this goes to like the Whatnot community, like being so big and so crazy, is Tori was really Tori's been a part of Whatnot since 2020.
Yeah.
You were shopping on Whatnot in 2020. Pokemon was like the big thing, right? Like that's what that was the big craze on Whatnot, I think, at that time. She said she spent her entire stimulus money on Whatnot at the time back in 2020. Like everything went to everything went to Whatnot. Yeah, I probably might be able to get her to talk much more. So, but anyway, was shopping in Plush and found a lot of other Plush sellers before she found Knox. Okay, so we joke, and we're still good friends with a lot of these people that have moved on out of the Plush category too. But Tori just became friends with us and was buying and chatting in the chat, and I still don't know how she ever became a mod. I really don't. It was probably like I was probably scrambling one day. Maybe it was just like maybe we were down somebody and I was just probably like, oh yes, you want to help? Sure, like help me, talk. But she's really good at like controlling and like helping moderate in that chat. And then she was saying, hey, I think I'm going to New Jersey for a Pokemon event. What if I stopped in Atlanta on my way to New Jersey and I met y'all and like hung out with y'all? And I was like, sure. And I told Mom was like, sure. Kim's like, sure. And so she came up
Love
here.
You really know
and-
who this person is?
yeah. She was like, I don't really know her.
That's
But
a typical mom
at this
question.
point, I had become good friends with Tori and several other girls on Whatnot, and we were all kind of we would all FaceTime every single day. Like we were all just became like super close. I mean, over 6 months or so of becoming friends, and so. She came to visit us, and she never went to New Jersey. Never actually went.
Yeah.
Did some shows with us here, and then she was like, "Jamie, what if you sell my collection?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "So you want to send it to us?" And she's like, "What if you come here and you sell it?" And I was like, "What?" So we kind of threw out the idea to our community, and they were like, yes, because she had been collecting for a long time. And so they knew she had good stuff. And it was just going to be a lot of money. I found like a $60 flight and flew to Florida and sold her collection.
Going to this stranger's house all the way to Florida by herself.
Knox knows. She's like,
I'm 36
I
years
love
old,
the
okay?
The
What are you
bravery.
doing?
My mommy's so afraid I'm going by myself.
listen.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Anyway, so
The brave new world, Mom.
I sold a lot of her collection, and then her mom also sells on eBay. So her mom was like, hey Jamie, what if you come back down here and you sell? And we, at that point, the way we did that, people are probably wondering like how that worked. We did it as a consignment essentially. So that it was X amount of percentage if everybody ever wanted to go that route, because we literally thought that that's what we were going to do for a minute. We were like, what if
Gonna travel.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
going to
no,
be like
you did.
You did. I did. See, nobody else thought that would be
You
the thing.
thought you
I
were
thought
going
that'd be
to
so cool.
wherever in the world.
So I
At
would love to
whoever's
see.
house.
I would love to see another plush seller do that because that dream left me. Okay, like I didn't get to do that anyway. So I went a couple times and sold her a collection, and then my life changed a little drastically. My mom's life changed a little drastically in the fall. My mom retired. I kind of had to go from working part-time to making this my full-time income. I was going through a divorce. And so I was like, okay, I have to be able to provide and make this. Before it was just like a part-time, like, oh, this helped, put a little bit of groceries or something like that. And it went for two, I have to be able to pay for a house and, bills for my kids. And so in August, we really took Knox full-time. And so we went from 3 days a week to 6 days a week. Kim's husband retired, I guess, from home. And so then they were building what they were doing. So like everybody kind of went to like full in this, like, this is what we're going to do. And then
So
Tori
I didn't
decided
retire.
Yeah, she didn't retire.
You made me work double time. I'm working
That's
double
what Tim
time.
says too. He's like, I do more work now than I did my full-time
I
job.
know.
I was gonna say, when you're passionate though, does it feel like work? That's the question.
No.
Right? I'm always posed to people.
No.
It doesn't, never feels like it, right? It never feels
Yeah,
like
except sometimes you get really tired at night or something, and it's like, I can't do anymore.
When I'm like, Jamie, it's like 10:45. We were supposed to be off at 10:30 or 10 o'clock. What are we doing? I got to get up at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
But
then the next day, it's like, we're so excited again.
Yeah.
Just so excited again.
Having a purpose and being purpose driven is super important. I would say almost that's the meaning of life, being able to be purposeful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially as I know, as I get older, I always think about that. As long as I can serve and add value, I'm in. And that's what drives me. So it sounds like that's what's driving you guys too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, for me, definitely when I'm on my like third straight day of like shipping, 50 to 100, I'm like, okay, I'm so like, what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm like, oh my gosh. But then you tell me a show's the next day and I'm like, okay, let's go. Like, that's what I think, like, everybody has to tell me to close the camera off. Like, I'm never the one that's like, okay, the show's over. Like that, you won't hear that come out of my mouth.
Hey, we've run a 14-hour show one time.
Wow.
I could have kept going too.
I did a 10 one time and I was just dead after.
Yeah.
One time.
Well, we did 12. It was Black Friday. So we did 12 the year before. We did 12 the year before, and then we did 14. So
finish telling about Tori.
Well, then Tori moved up here. Tori moved up here in October. She said, "Hey, I'm ready to get out of Florida." Like, she was living in Florida and she was ready to leave Florida. So now to just have somebody extra for me too. She helps me with my kids, and she's here, and it's another person to help me and all that kind of stuff, which is amazing. She helps us with Knox, which has been like life changing. I think for Knox. She adds a different perspective that all three of us don't have, right? She created an entire Discord for us, which now has built this community, like, to where, how many people are in the Discord?
Almost 160.
Almost 160 people. And we started that less than a month ago.
Wow.
So we do and she has designed and set all of that up, and that would have never happened. We would have never had that capacity had we not had another person. She does a lot of ordering for us as well. So is it a risk? I think as far as now people are now the three of us, especially, that are like, okay, this is also putting food on my table and paying my electric bill, right? And now you're trying to bring in somebody else to hopefully, pay them or whatever. You're taking money, you know what I mean? But it's the only way to be able to grow, right? To be able to say, okay, hey, we're gonna take a little bit from here to be able to hopefully get bigger this way, because we have an extra set of hands, because we have an extra mind, because we have all of these other things. And so that's been really great, I think.
Yeah, at the beginning, I was like, why aren't we paying Tori?
Mm-hmm. And we did it,
We were doing it for fun, and it was she was doing a lot of work. So
a lot of work.
She got a palm power too.
We did
Perfect.
here and there at the beginning.
Speaking her love language right there.
But she is probably definitely a KnoxNextDoor favorite, probably more than all three of us. So but no, but she
does a lot of the social media stuff, so that you don't have time for.
It's a great. Speaking of social media, guys, if you're not subscribing and liking to the podcast, be sure to subscribe and like to this podcast so that we can have more great guests like KnoxNextDoor on for sure.
Yes.
So we understand that grind here. That's for
That's
sure.
right.
They're saying
That's
you
right.
still get paid in Charlie Bears. Tell them you get paid in real
Charlie
money now.
Bears. Hey, now we're talking. Now we're talking.
She gets paid in real money now, guys. Everybody is always so concerned. She made a joke that she was going to have to go without dinner tonight because she was going to be working all night. And they were like, oh, poor Tori. Like, so, you know.
DoorDash shows up at the KnoxNextDoor.
But yeah, so
so
it's been
that
cool
growth is, you know, partially organic, partially social media, you think? So it's like a combination of like a 1-2 punch.
I would not say any social media due to anything social media wise. We have
just started that.
Yeah, we really just like, I mean, I created the social media accounts. Honestly, my sister, okay, so the reason why where KnoxNextDoor came about is my sister and I were going to write a blog at one point. And so we secured the name. At that point, I secured the social media. And I'm telling you, this was like 5 years ago. So it's kind of like serendipitous, like how it all worked out and how the name ended up being. But we had planned on using it for essentially a different business. So like we had the social media accounts have existed for a long time, but like we weren't using them actively. And still to this day, I like joke, I'm like, all the people that know me in real life don't actually shop with us. Like really, like we don't have a lot of like communities, small, like local people that are shopping with us at all. And I think that's because like when we first started on Whatnot, I don't know if this is the case for whenever anybody else started, but in 2024, it felt like most people that knew about Whatnot were like the Northeast, and then like way out west, like South, like in Georgia, there was like nobody. Like you could be like, I'm selling Whatnot, and they're like, what? Like they didn't know what the heck you were talking about.
Alabama.
And I feel like over the last year, like we met people in real life that were like, hey, we sell here. And, you know, we used to be so like embarrassed, like this is what we do. But I don't even know why. But, you know, now we're just like, hey, yeah, I sell stuffed animals.
Well, I think
and
it was more
pays my
because
bills,
we
you know?
were like thrifting and looking for things and you didn't, or went to yard sales and you didn't want people to know that you were going to
that stigma, right? That's part of the community activism that I do on my Facebook channel is about breaking the stigma of that. And you're no different than Walmart when you really think about it. They're a reseller, right? They're not making anything. They're buying it for somebody else and reselling it. There's no difference other than someone's perception of that. So that's part of what I'm working towards, community activism in that regard, like getting everybody a voice to come on here and explain what we're doing, trying to push that message, right?
Yeah, and I found once I started talking about it, so many people were open to it. And then they were like, you do what? That's so cool. And it just opened up doors, being able to, you know, tell people and directing people to where we are. The other day I went to pick up boxes from Granger and this guy was like, why do you need so many boxes? And I'm like, well, I sell on Whatnot. And he's like, well, what's that? I said, a live selling site. He goes, oh, my daughter was on one of those sites the other day. She was watching someone sell a plush spider. And I'm like, what kind of spider? And we showed him a picture. We do plush too now on Second Star. And I showed him a picture of a spider. And I said, was it like this? And he's like, that's the exact spider. His daughter was in our show watching our show.
Just like that.
I was like, what a small world. So that was really, really cool.
Yeah. But so I got a question for you guys.
I think too, a lot of our growth, and I don't know if the girls will agree with this, a lot of our growth, when we were first starting on Whatnot, we were only doing it 2 to 3 times a week. And then when I was able to retire, we were able to step it up, and now we're on about 6 days a week. And I think that made a big difference too. I mean, I know a lot of people can't do that, but like, you know, a lot of people in Whatnot, they do talk about the consistency. And of course, that is a big part, whether you can do it once a week or 6 times a week. But of course, the more that you do it, the more you're going, you know, you are going to grow. I feel when you are able to be on more.
I think that's what everything in life, right? Yeah. So everything in life is that.
So we're open to a lot more buyers that probably have never seen us before. Only running at nighttime.
But you know, you always have to start somewhere. So whether you do it 1 time a week for whoever, you know, is out there and is able to do that and possibly continue to grow and then increase that, you know, the opportunity's there.
So speaking of being seen, do you guys get noticed in public? Has that ever happened where they're like shocked No, not yet.
Really?
No.
Because that's happened to us
See,
now.
that's
That's
why I
happened to us now
joke.
3 times because of Whatnot.
Really?
Oh,
I
Yeah,
got that twice, and I'm like,
well, it's never YouTube or anything like that. It's always Whatnot. I saw
Really?
you on
It's always
Whatnot, or I
Whatnot.
followed you
Wow.
on Whatnot, or I purchased from you on Whatnot. So
That's
I was
That's
just curious.
funny. Yeah,
That's
no,
funny.
not for us. And I think still like it's just there's still just not a lot of I would say like especially local, like where
In
we
the
live.
US,
We're
it's
south of
kinda
Atlanta.
strange. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Overseas, it's big. Like social media is reselling is the way of the
Mhm.
future, right?
Mhm.
It's big
Right.
overseas, and it's the market
Right.
here is still so small. So you guys
Yeah.
that you're doing so well now, can you just imagine when this thing catches fire in the US?
we're
That's going to
super
rewrite the
excited.
That's what
history
we're
of your
trying to
family.
Yeah,
explain
that'd be
to all these
awesome.
companies
Yeah.
too that doing retail and stuff. This is
yeah.
Yeah.
once they
Yeah.
start learning about it, they're like, whoa,
The
wow.
curve
okay.
is going up. Okay, we're not
Yeah.
going down from here.
It's not
Yeah.
going anywhere. It's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
and I feel too that it's getting closer to us. I mean, we've had someone in our chat not too long ago that lived in the same city as Jamie does.
Mhm.
So
So we don't know each other.
yeah, and then there's a couple other friends of ours. I don't want to call them customers. They're our friends through Whatnot that live, just north of us.
Yeah. An
So
hour.
it's
Things like
getting
that.
there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I've seen more of that happening.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Which is
Okay.
But yeah, we really haven't had, I would say, like truly like, back to that growth question. I think it's really happened organically. I mean, and even talking about consistency, we pretty much have had the same schedule since we started at Whatnot. I mean, we've always run Sundays at 2 p.m. for the last 2.5 years. We've always run Thursday at 8 o'clock. Like that's always been our time slot. And we've adjusted based from like in August, we made an adjustment. Like Kim was starting to share that we went from like only doing evening shows to like my youngest went to school full time. So like that opened my daytime better. So it was like now we're offering morning shows. And so we do like mornings twice a week, evenings twice a week. We do a Sunday afternoon. So we try to, because if you're only doing one time, you might only be finding these people that are on Whatnot at this exact time.
Correct.
But like trying to, I mean, not everybody has that liberty to be able to do that, but those kind of things will help too. And we also like just thought through those shows that you just are like, I need to get off of here and I can't, like nobody's in here. You just have to fight through to like get to that 2-hour mark. Cause I really think that the length of the show also matters, getting on 15, 20 minutes and saying, oh, nobody's in my room, end show, you have to just kind of fight through that grit.
That was my trouble with Ray
Yeah.
Trains at first, because you're on for an hour and right at that 50-minute mark, it would start to just pop off and then you would have to rate into somebody. And I was just like, after a while, Ray Trains just became this like thing for me.
Yeah.
I was just like, it was great for growth and getting the
for
word
sure.
out, but it
Yeah,
really
we did a lot
run
of
your
Ray
own
Trains
show.
on Disney at the beginning, and it helped us grow really quickly. And then
Right.
we kind of stopped because it was
Yeah, for that reason alone, I mean, I think you're right about the 2-hour mark for some reason. If you guys didn't know, I'm a data analyst, a software engineer. I do that full time. So I've done all the analytics, all the stuff for Whatnot, and it really does seem to be trending.
Something happens at 2 hours and you can't explain it either.
Right. Something in the algorithm just, I don't know what it is. You just get more pushes maybe. I don't know. So,
I just saw they're saying how many followers we have. What do we have? Just over 10,000. So, and I think that
figure out how to
goes
see the
to,
chat. I mean, come on, I'm like really. I guess I'm showing my age.
I think that goes to, and I think, and okay, so Kim and I used to host a weekly, seller support type of community chat. And we used to, and we had a kind of a unique perspective because while Kim was, works part of KnoxNextDoor, like that's what we do all together. She had this, second star exchange, and we were in two totally different categories. And when we started on Whatnot, Plush was very small. There were several, like in the sense of, it didn't feel like there was a lot of people selling all at the same time. Like you could go on and there was like maybe 5 shows on, maybe like at one time. And then across everybody's rooms, you could get 20 people or so. That's about it. And so now I think for 2 years later, those people that are still in Plush or, dabble in Plush, like they come back and they're like, whoa, I can get a whole lot more people in my room. than what I used to be able to. And I think that's just growth within the category. When we all started on Whatnot, Disney was a lot bigger, right? Kim used to be like, man, there's like 50 people on, you know what I mean? Like as she's trying to stream a show. And so,
must be Mr. Kim.
That's me.
So we used to talk a lot. We used to talk a lot about how followers doesn't always mean something, right?
Oh yeah, it doesn't mean
have we celebrated? We celebrated 1,000 followers. We celebrated 5,000 followers. And I think we celebrated like 10,000 followers. And it was because that was just like our way of giving back to our community. But like we've never focused on that number, and I focus on it even less now than what I ever did, because I have learned, especially as we were like growing, we could have 60 people in the room and we could have 17 people in the room and we could make the same amount of money. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, or we could have 60 people in the room and 17 people in the room and we could have the same amount of chat engagement. You know, it's all about the types of people that you have come in, not even just buyers, but just like customers, people that are willing to engage with you and just chit chat with you and all of that kind of stuff. Like that can make so much of a better show than just by having 20, 30, 40,000 followers. It doesn't always necessarily equate to sales or engagement, you know? So,
but you also have to help those people engage. You know, you as a seller are helping those people to engage. Some of them, you know, they're just not going to all the time do it on their own. So that's where, you know, Jamie comes in too. And she goes, why aren't we talking?
She's like a wagon driver.
Yeah.
Just gotta, you know, I think it's just about like, and I think that's where it goes into like being willing to share, you know, just authentically as you are, you know,
absolutely,
you know, that kind of thing. Okay.
People like to be part. People like to be part of who you are also.
Right.
Oh yeah,
feel like they're part of your family.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah, that inclusion. Yeah, inclusion is important in keeping your audience. And we've talked about authenticity. It's you have to be yourself. If you go on and try to be something you're not, that's not at the end of the day sustainable, and it's not who you are. And it's everybody's different. Everybody brings something different to the table. So bring it.
Right. Right.
That's it. Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than getting off after 3 hours of being on a show and feeling so exhausted because you felt like you were performing the entire time you were on live. You know, if I do something stupid, the chat might laugh at me and like people are going to laugh. And like, that's just is what it is. Like, you know, like if my hair looks bad or I'm just like having a blah day or whatever, you know, they're there. And I just say, okay, guys, this is the way life is right now. You know, sometimes my kids are doing backflips in the background. Like, you know,
well, Jamie, you're really put together today.
And I'm like, what does that mean? I look like the rest of the time. But anyway.
Hey, I got it.
Oh man. Well, that's
she brushed her hair today.
So, I think it's just, you know, like I don't feel exhausted after a 3-hour show because I literally feel like I've just been hanging out with my best friends, you know? And so that's why we try to design what we do. And then we get off and we talk to them in Discord until, you know, 2:00 in the morning, it feels like sometimes. So,
wow,
you know,
that's the heck of a strategy. I mean,
they can't forget about you, right? Everybody's talking to you. They don't forget about you. But
well, that's the thing about Whatnot, right? You pause for a second. I put my Whatnot on pause for those that didn't know for a while now. If you haven't noticed, when you do that, they do forget about you, and I'm okay with that.
Out of sight,
I've reconciled that. So I will someday come back. I'm not sure exactly when. Maybe I'll play the LL Cool J. Don't call it a comeback. but in all seriousness, you're right though. Being forward facing, being intentional, being consistent, being remembered. All those things are important in growth in business in general, not just social media sales. So which is what Whatnot is, which is the future. And usually during this time period of the podcast, we do a thing here, and I don't know if you guys have watched the podcast, where we ask the guests a very important question. And I don't know if you've had time to think about this, but we say, KnoxNextDoor, who would you like to see on Launchpad Reseller Podcast?
Oh.
Cue the Jeopardy music.
Do, do, do.
Oh my god!
They don't have to be Whatnot specific. They could be anybody. They could be anybody across.
Jamie.
I know. I have one. Okay, I'm going to go completely out of the plush category.
Okay. Here we go.
And we rate this person all the time, so people might be able to guess
perfect.
because she's my favorite. But she
so
is
good.
Is Christina Zatora.
Yep.
So, and I can help make that introduction if you guys want. We started probably within months of each other, but she sells in a completely different category. She sells in really, she does a lot of apparel. She does shoes, accessories. She does free people. She does all different types of brands.
But she never used to. Also,
well,
so
yeah, she was
pivot.
doing that. Correct. And she was really selling Sanrio. And that's how our paths crossed, because she was selling Sanrio. We were selling Squishmallows. She came in and bought some Sanrio from us, like we were going to buy from her. And so really, I think that she still does some Sanrio shows, but like she calls us her luxury plush dealers. And, and we always but like she's such a bubbly person. But one thing I love about Christina, and I think we say that we have a different perspective because we have a team, you know what I mean? There's challenges that come with that, right? Because we have to figure out profit and how all that works with having multiple people, but how people do it all by themselves, how y'all all do it. Like I still, that process still can't make sense to me, because I feel like we're constantly scrambling and working 24/7, and it's 4 of us, so but she does this all by herself too, so she's but that's who I think that'd be my pick.
Christine Tori, you've been called out on Launchpad Reseller Podcast.
Yes,
we can pick Christine. I'm sure that they would suggest her too. Yes. But she's awesome, and I think it's a different perspective because it's completely different than what we do. So
yeah, we like to branch out and have different people, even though we're all plush category here. It seems like we're all about having different resellers on. We had Cam Life on. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cam Life from Whatnot. They're $1 million reseller through Whatnot, and they were on the channel, and Cam talked about a lot of things and reselling and a lot of important facts and all that. So I encourage anybody that's in the chat to go back and look at that episode. It gives you a lot of insight into Whatnot and a mindset and what you can do as a business. What he told us is to not be invested in your inventory emotionally.
It's hard.
Can you speak to that a lot?
It's hard.
I would agree to that because I think a lot of people, if I meet somebody out in the wild, or my friends, they literally think that we sell to parents with kids. That's what they think that we do. Because my friends or people maybe that are in my my real life circle aren't collectors like that, right? And so they think that that's what we sell to. And so trying to explain, no, we're really selling to collectors, and this is a collector market, especially now we have kind of transitioned to. We now carry a very high-end luxury plush brand, which is Charlie Bears, and we are stockists for them. It's a UK-based company. Some of these pieces are $450, right? And so but when we see these pieces and they come in and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to keep them all. But and people will constantly come in and ask, and they'll say, what's in your PC? Can I see your PC and all of that kind of stuff. I personally have given myself about very limited space as far as what I can collect. And I know that they both have done the same thing. But I think where we find more joy than even collecting the pieces themselves is finding them and finding the people that they truly belong with.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I get more emotional about saying when we see a piece, even when we can, when a piece comes up as available for us to order, and I can be like, this belongs with this person. I already know who's going to buy it before it even gets into my hands because we know our customers so well. And so I think that I find emotional attachment in that process more than I find with getting the piece or the inventory itself. It's that connection of finding what a collector wants and putting it in their hands. So.
I love that from our customers across eBay and Etsy when we get messages, especially handwritten messages about what it meant to them and how it's their childhood favorite reunited and all the things. That to me is just oh God, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
I know. Over the years with eBay, I've gotten handwritten letters and all that kind of stuff. Just talking about how, you replaced this in my child's life or this from when I was younger, and just the stories that went along with it.
I think that's what drives me at the end of the day. It's not so much the money. I have a really great job, and I'm really proud and privileged to have that. For me, what drives it is the emotional, the community activism, all the other stuff that the business. Those are the things that I care about. I'm a people person in that way. So.
We always tell them too that they're saying, well, where's your PC? I says, you're looking at it, and it's all, it can be all yours. We enjoy it. If it's here for a day, if it's here for a week.
A good way of looking at it. Yeah.
And then after that, it's gone. Yep.
So and there's very few special pieces that I think we've taken, especially even from like the brands that we carry. And even we joke, like Tori had a bunny that she kept in her collection, and she thought it was going to be a forever. And then it was like, I don't know, like maybe I'll replace this with something else. And so we got back on and we were like, okay, this was a piece that we had in inventory. Tori took it home. Here, do you want it? And it sold. You know what I mean? So it's always like, even when that piece isn't serving in our own collections, I think then all of a sudden we're like, okay, well, we're ready to sell it.
Well, too, now we have started a little bit of a PC up here.
Can you show us some stuff?
But
would that be okay?
Yes,
awesome.
some of these items.
She's in our room.
Yeah,
perfect.
Let me just unplug you here.
Heck yeah, we're going on a road trip, y'all.
Okay, now listen. Listen, though, we had a do I have to switch my camera around though? What do I do?
Yeah, you probably
stay like this.
No, switch your camera around.
Down here.
There we go. Oh, Mom's gone.
Am I gone?
I miss Mom already.
Okay.
How about this, Mom? If you bring it to us, maybe that'd be the better.
Or, well, maybe I can.
There you go. That'll work.
Okay. So up here.
I say zoom in
a little bit bigger.
Way up here.
There we go.
We started a little bit of a PC, but what those items are, they're from our friends on Whatnot. So sometimes we've been purchasing some things from our friends on Whatnot, and then they belong in our PC. But I'm going to I'll give you a scan around the room a little bit.
That German Shepherd up there,
yeah. So this is Douglas. We have a unboxing on Wednesday. Our Douglas is very low in inventory, but I'm going to try to.
We have 30 boxes. We have 30 boxes of Douglas coming in on tomorrow.
This is just one. This is just one side of our room. I'm trying to walk backwards. Plus, we had an unboxing today with Aurora, which is all over the place. Let me see. My door.
Everything that you're seeing right now is all Douglas.
Man, that's incredible.
I'm trying
Douglas
to see where my camera
probably as far as like quantity of inventory, that's probably the largest quantity of a single brand that we carry is Douglas. I'm
walking backwards.
Now she's kind of walking into our Aurora section. So like this is all Aurora. So we carry like Pomp House and Snoozles.
See, this is all mess right now because I'm trying to clean up our unboxing from today that we had.
I wish I had that mess now in my organized.
To get organized here. Trying to kind of step over. Hold on. Step over some things.
Look at that.
This is where she's walking down now is going to be Squishables on one side, which is what she's showing. That's Squishable. That's the most recent brand that we just added.
I love that brand.
Yeah, and it was a fight. And we have pictures of us selling Squishable back when we first started on Whatnot. So it's like kind of full circle that we were able to work with them now. So that's Squishable. Now she's kind of getting into Ganz. This is Ganz. I know, Forever Doctor. I see you, Kate Leslie. Ganz is another amazing brand. Ganz has been around for decades. We carry a lot of their Heritage Collection line. And also like they have rag dolls. They have lots of different other types of items. And then this is kind of our higher end line. This is Charlie Bears. This is a UK based company. They are in their 21st year of business and we are a stockist for them. They make handmade, fully jointed, one of a kind pieces. All the bears will look different. all of their jointed pieces again are handmade. Some of them are like limited to 200 pieces worldwide ever created, but they're kind of all limited in production with the exception of a couple of their lines. So that's kind of Charlie Bears, and then this is kind of going back into Palm Pals now, where she's at.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We appreciate the back of the scenes look at that. That's incredible.
Yeah. See, I still have boxes here. And then we also, this here is still a little jumbled up from this morning, but then we have Warmies.
Oh wow.
Fantastic.
Excuse me.
Incredible.
So there's a lot going on in here.
And we have some days, just for like what we do, we have some days where we do like unboxings, which are like when we get brand new inventory in, we run everything kind of like what you would expect as a normal auction on Whatnot. And then a couple days, and then when we don't have an unboxing, we pretty much do scan and run. And so it's more like, hey, drop request, we'll put it in a bundle for you, kind of like Mom was saying at the beginning, like a build your cart. So like, honestly, like we say all the time, we really don't know how many sales we really truly have had on Whatnot as far as like individual pieces sold, because we do bundles sometimes with 20, 30 pieces in it. And that's why like we always said, don't get too bogged down in your numbers either, because your numbers don't necessarily always show. Like Whatnot only tracks transactions. It doesn't track individual pieces, right? And so we have no idea how many things we've sold. So sometimes you can be like, oh my gosh, I've sold way less things than this person over here, but that you might be selling bundles and they might be running auctions one after another, which is going to increase their numbers. So it's like, but so we do different types of shows. We have shows where we have high transaction because we're just running auctions. Then we have other shows where we do kind of what Mom just did, a full scan around the room, ask for things. People can put multiple brands in their cart at one time. And to kind of have a more personal shopping experience. So, yeah.
Love that. Speaking of inventory control, this podcast is sponsored by Nifty.ai. So if you guys give us just 1 second, we'll talk about Nifty.ai. It's important because it can be your inventory control for all things reselling. So regardless of what you sell, if you need a platform to do that, Nifty.ai can do that. Code Rocket City will save you 15% off. And we'll go ahead and stop it right there. Appreciate that opportunity to do that. So a lot of things have been said in this podcast about Whatnot, etc. What's next? Let's talk about what's next for KnoxNextDoor. What's next? What's coming up?
Everybody's looking at me too.
Yeah, eyebrows.
Everybody did eyebrows.
I think that
share as much as you want.
Yeah. I think, we're in a interesting phase right now of like, we've built and grown really fast, and then learned how to manage that growth, like because it's a whole different world of now I'm shipping 20 packages a day to now I'm shipping 75. And so that I think we're still trying to learn, right? We're still trying to manage that, that running 6 days a week and having lives and stuff. So I think we're still in this, that period of growth right there. That's a little uncomfortable at some points, but I think you can maybe hopefully expect to see within the next year another new line added to hopefully what we do. So that would hopefully be in the picture. I don't know when, I don't know what yet, but that is, I think, in a goal that we will add a 7th line to what we do. The goal is also, I think, that we can bring larger amounts of inventory in all the time. I mean, people love our unboxings, but what we don't want to do is lose that personal experience that people get on those days where we don't do that. So we're really mindful of that, of like trying to grow and continue to bring stuff in all the time. We've thrown around.
I think too, a lot of, like I said, our Douglas is low right now. So, when you're ordering from wholesalers like this, sometimes it can take a while before it gets to us. Or now the type of selling that we're doing, you don't have, if you have a brick and mortar, you don't have 50 people walking in your store 6 days a week. And so I think a little bit of our, I don't know if it's really struggle or not, is keeping enough of the different items for when people come in. You know, we have, well, we're say, for example, Frankie, because I love Frankie. Okay. Frankie is
a fox.
Yeah, it's a fox. It's a Douglas fox. And a lot of time it's back ordered, which we can't control back ordering. I understand that. But when we go to order him, or when we first started to order him, we would only order 2 at a time. Then, you know, once we got selling and he was going really fast, then we're ordering 4 at a time. The last order Jamie placed, I opened up the box. I said, how come we have 6 of these? And they weren't Frankies. They were snow leopards or something. I says, why do we have 6 of these? Well, we ran 1, we ran 2, and 6 went out the door within 10 minutes, you know, so they're gone. And now we have to bring them back in. So we're always trying, you know, to keep the quantity even of the same item or one item, because all these people are coming in and, you know, there's going to be a lot of people wanting it. And so that's a little bit of
yeah, I think that's it. And it goes into like dealing with inventory, like knowing your customer base and like, are these really going to sell? But then how many new people have come in, right? That because how many people already have this one plush that I know I sell out of every time, but then it's like, so it's that constant risk and kind of playing that inventory world. And we are not great at, we just like to order things, right? And so we just keep ordering. Me and Tori, that's our job. We just get to do all the shopping. But
go like
so
this.
I think what Mom's talking about is, and I think for our customers is like,
what is that?
That's a 36-inch Charlie Bear.
Wow.
That was okay. So that was a whole nother world too. And I can kind of share, and I don't know how much time we have left, but
where'd I go? Where'd everybody go?
We started bringing in these
We're zoomed in on you. We zoomed in on you.
We started bringing in these huge pieces from some of the brands that we have. And what was happening is it was going to cost $150 for people to ship that, for people to get that on Whatnot. And so we were like, we got to figure out a solution for this.
Let's back up a little bit. Okay.
So we
one day that my order comes, right? She says, you're getting X amount of boxes in. I said, oh, awesome. Great. Because they always come here. And I think 3 of this size came to my house. I'm like, she says, Mom, we didn't know it was that big. I said, yeah, right.
Yikes.
It's in centimeters. It wasn't in inches. So, you know.
So what's the solution for that?
I'm just saying.
So that has been an extreme challenge with us with Whatnot, because Whatnot only allows USPS shipping, right? And so that probably took us 3 months of, and I'll say this, I think that hitting Premier did allow us to maybe have more push for this. But we essentially got put into that program that allows us, we can ship UPS. And so it's kind of like the same
on some items. So
like we can't just turn around and we would never, just because honestly, the UPS rates on a pound to 5 pounds is so much better than anywhere, at that point, Whatnot has negotiated. So like we won't, like all of our items can't go UPS, but those big oversized items, we now can ship UPS, which has cut the shipping rate for like that piece. For somebody in California, instead of paying $160, they're paying $60 or $70 to ship that. But that's a 15-pound, 36-inch, you know what I mean? Like jointed, handmade piece, so but yeah, so now we have that
it's worked out well because we only have 1 left.
I was going to ask how many. Amazing, hey.
Right?
And the other ones were different. They were different than this. But
so how much does something like that go for? Because you said this is a high-end bear.
Yeah. That one's only like $385? $382.
Only like $380.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna tell you. So when people see it, when we first brought them in, people thought they were like $600. So they were pleasantly surprised to hear that they were that. I mean, they make. I mean, Charlie Bears in particular, like, so that is our higher end brand, right?
There's Olympus.
Yeah, I mean, there's some bears that are this big and they're $400,
and they only make 1,000 pieces of this particular one. Only 1,000.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second. So prices, you have to sell it at least at the retail price to make money. But let's talk about what that looks like at an auction, because obviously you can make more than that. You want to speak to what that looks like for y'all?
So all the brands we work with, and I think anybody that goes into a wholesale partnership with any brand, they have map pricing, right? So it's a minimum advertised price. Like we can only offer at a specific, this is the bottom line. You have to sell at this point. Then at that point, as a retailer, as we all know, whenever we go into different places and we're like, wait a second, we saw that from here and it's this much, and over here it's this much. And it's the same brand. Why is it the case? Because then those retailers have the decision-making capability that they can charge as much as they want for it, right? Are they going to be able to sustain that? Probably not, right? People eventually, now you aren't trustworthy, right? Why are you trying to charge me more than what I need to spend on it? So we have their perspective. What we have always done since we started selling Douglas and Aurora, when we first brought them in, is we charge the minimum price that we are mandated to charge. Like that is what we charge, and we do not charge anything higher. And we've done that since day one of what we sell for every single brand.
Yeah. And I'll say that if we have 3 of the same item, we let the people know, because we don't want them bidding up.
Right.
We don't want them bidding up. Now, if we only have 1 of like this Trailblazer guy, if they bid up, they bid up, you know, because we don't bring in 12 of those or 3 of those at one time.
That's fair, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So sometimes that may happen.
And we're very like forthcoming about all of that. Like mom says, like we'll be like, and even if we have multiples, like especially with things that are spotted or striped or things like that, like we'll let the customer pick which one that they want, you know?
Because the pattern's just a little bit different.
Right. It might look different. Especially with Charlie Bears. Charlie Bears always will look different, even if they're solid. Like they still look different because they're handmade. But the you know, we will allow, like we always tell somebody, hey, this is already on an order. Like there more are coming. Like we've ordered and we've got an invoice. We know that they're coming. So if you want to wait a week, like don't feel like you have to fight over this thing. But then there are some pieces that will say, hey, we already know this item is on back order, or hey, we already know this item is discontinued, because now with where we're at with, especially with Douglas, like Douglas has sent us their discontinued list, right? And we don't, that's kind of unheard of too. So it's like, we'll be able to be forthcoming and say, hey, we're not getting these again. Like this is it. Especially with Charlie Bears, we know that. But like even with Charlie Bears, we've learned to say, like, we never say never, because I'm never going to tell you I'm never going to get this again, because so now you better bid because it's so rare. Like I'm not going to do that, right? We'll never say never, but I'll say I can't guarantee this piece again. And we'll find, like for example, for our Charlie Bears shows, because the pieces are so expensive and people want to say, oh, you're having 40 of these in a show, I need to actually decide which one I like. We started loading them in our auction tab, like as early as we possibly can. Like we have a show on Friday, the pieces are already loaded in our auction tab. People can go pre-bid on them. If they choose to bid above retail, then that's their choice, but our prices will always start at the minimum.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're putting the information in the buyer's hands and letting the market decide. That's how it should be.
And some of our brands do allow us, like Douglas in particular, allows us to discount twice a year. And so we've already said, like when we had it at Black Friday and we did a 25 or 20% off sale on all of our Douglas, right? Because and Douglas says, here are your 4 days that you can offer things at a discount. And so we do that when we can. Or brands might have a specific like item that we're allowed to discount, you know, we can do it that way.
And when we set up our room, you know, we usually have, if we have 3 or 4 of the item, they're all together. So, you know, we can see at just looking or whatever they're interested in, we can see how many we have. And that's how we are able to tell them we have, you know, 4 of these, so don't bid up. And then if the last one goes, you know, if they want to, they can. But
has Douglas shown any interest in getting into live reselling marketplace, or just use vendors to do that on their behalf? Because I know a lot of retailers have thought about maybe getting into the live, like Nike, Puma,
great question.
Some of the bigger names.
Based off of our conversations with them, no. And I would say that they're also extremely selective of who they work with as well. So like, I don't think we're going to see a big crazy boom of like everybody selling Aurora, of everybody selling, on all like on, you're never going to, I'll tell you this, you'll probably never ever see a TikTok shop as far as I'm concerned, as far as I've been told, like a TikTok seller selling Douglas wouldn't allow, like Douglas in particular is very protective of their brand.
Well, I think he's also saying, does
they
Douglas
come in our
themself?
And I don't think so.
Themselves?
I don't think
we haven't
so
heard
either.
Anything.
No. Yeah. I think that, I don't know, all the brands we work with highly value their retailers.
Right.
And sense, so I think that, and that's one of those things, I guess, never say never, but,
Have you ever been approached by TY at all?
No, they were at Atlanta Market. We did not talk to them at Market, but we have sold like Beanie Babies and things like that in the past. But we haven't, I guess, approached, to go that route yet. But we've had a couple other brands.
Yeah, we had a sales rep reach out to us asking if we had a brick and mortar, and we tried to explain them to our business, like kind of like you guys, that that's not something we're doing. We're doing this, and this is specific to that. And they didn't show much interest. So I was just curious if you've ever had that conversation,
not
or
with
if
them.
they saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah, not with them. Yeah, they were at Atlanta Market, but yeah, like I said, some of these brands, they just don't get it yet. You know what I mean? And even once they do get it, they're still like, wait, what? Because it's been that way. I mean, even with Charlie Bears, we are ordering 3 to 4 times a week from them, and they're like, wait a second, what? And I think it's also been a different world even for some of these companies, because they're used to, for example, we were at Atlanta Market and we're all in the Aurora booth, and we got to talk to the CEO of Aurora, which was fantastic. And like, he talked a lot about like how they'll never go to Walmart. What did he used to work for? Dang, what was the brand? Russ. I think he worked for Russ. And he said when Russ went to Walmart, everything changed for Russ, right? Like it just didn't go as well. You know what I mean? Like you could still find things, but they were more of an exclusive brand and things changed. So like Aurora's never going to go that route. But like we were sitting in there and there were some companies in there that were writing $200,000 orders sitting at the table, but they're ordering once a year. You know what I mean? So it's, or they're ordering once a quarter, or they're ordering for 500 stores, and so then we're writing orders that are very different, we kind of get to the point where we were writing, okay, this $1,000 order. And then they kind of kept growing. And then it was like, holy crap, like you're having to put out so much money and hope that it all comes back. But then they're like, wait, you're ordering again? Wait, you're ordering, wait, didn't you just order last week? So like that style of ordering has also been different for them, that they're used to these big, like, right now Douglas just released their 2026 line. So like a lot of companies are getting a huge chunk. Well, we're already on our third trying to order for 2026 because we order smaller numbers more often. So that's been a learning curve, I think, for them as well, like just like us. So,
and they don't allow, like we can't sell on eBay. We can't sell on Amazon. They're not taking any new retailers for a lot of those third market parties, because they didn't do, follow the guidelines, a lot of those resellers. And so they don't open that up to anyone anymore.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, we're only allowed to sell in one area at this point. Like this is where we sell, this is what we do. That kind of thing. And I think, this is the other side of selling a brand like this, is also educating that we have a minimum pricing, because they might go into somebody else's show, right? Or eBay or whatever, or even on Amazon and Walmart, and they'll say, well, it's cheaper over there, right? And they don't realize that it may not be brand new with tag, it's not coming from the manufacturer, like something. So that's been a transition too of like, if we have to sell at this point, but somebody could go and take the same item we have and they could sell way up here, or they could sell way down here. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you have to educate people in that sense as well, from being in a wholesale perspective.
Man, what a unique, you're like trailblazers, I think, in regards to that. So we appreciate that perspective. For sure. This is usually the time of the show where we open up to the chat for questions. And I think you've got the the numbers here. So if our chat wants to reach out and put their questions in there.
I got to see the chat.
See if,
I can't see the chat. So
comments.
We'll read them to you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll read them to you.
If I bring up
I won't
the
read them
chat,
because I don't have
I
my
don't
glasses
see
on.
you guys.
Yeah, I have the same thing. When I go to the chat, then I can't see anything. So
Yeah, I can see all the chat now, but I can't see you guys.
Well, I have a question. My question is for Mama Knox. When your girls came to you and said, "Hey, do you want to join us and sell on Whatnot?" What was that conversation? Like, how did that go? Like, were you like, "What is Whatnot? What are you talking about? Explain."
Oh no. I mean, we have always what's the kind of word I want to use? We have always reached beyond, different levels of things. Like Jamie said,
we've always done something on the side, I think. I think that's what you're trying to say.
I guess so. Something on the side. We owned a business called Scatter Smiles. We were working all the time. And a lot of that was personalization type of items. But the thing with that was you sold it. And then after you sold it, then you had to make it. So who wants to make it after they've sold it? You want to make it. If you're going to be a crafter, you want to make it and then sell it and be done with it. So that was kind of the pattern as time went on. We did that for like 4 years. That we finally got burnt out with that. But I've always enjoyed, of course, doing things with the girls, but I've always been one also to, spread my wings and do things like this.
I think you knew a lot about reselling though too, just because I've done it for so long and told you so much about it over the years as well,
20 years of
and she was probably just loving, she just got to hang out with us a couple days a week, and that's like, you know what I mean, like you get like undivided
the opposite way around, because you come to my place.
My adult children want to hang out with me. I'm honored.
Well, I mean Kim and I both had, especially when we started on Whatnot 2 years ago, I mean our kids were a lot younger than what they are now, and so it's just like, we didn't have a lot of time. Like we were always busy, always on the go, and so it was that 3 days a week that the three of us got together. I joke, I was like, I always talked to my sister, but like that was the most I saw her, because it's like, you're just doing life, and it's just dedicated time to just be together and do something fun. It's just
I've always been a crafter, or always had to be busy. I know I'm old. I'm getting old, but I'm not old.
You're not old. If you're old,
I can keep up with them.
Yes.
10 times over. 10 times over.
10
times over.
Okay, Cindy.
Not 2, 10 times over.
Spicy mama.
And then, I have my husband, Rick, who also is known as Papa Knox. He comes into the show once in a while, but we also have his help here too. And his encouragement. So we enjoy it.
We've got a question here.
Awesome.
Kate Lacey says, "What's your absolute favorite part of doing KnoxNextDoor? We truly love being a part of the community."
Oh,
Kate, let's see. See, for me, that's so perfect that you asked that question for Kate. So Kate, we know Kate, as obviously an amazing part of our community, but I think finding things, like Tori and I will joke and we'll be like, oh, that's for Kate Leslie. Like, I know that's going to be for Kate Leslie. Like, and then we'll show it on and she'll be like, are you kidding me? So I think it's really like, for me, it's getting to know all of these people that kind of share something in common and have completely different, crazy, all over the place lives. And being able to get to know them in such a way that I don't know, we get to be a part of their life. And I think especially since starting the Discord, there's been so many people that have shared in there, like in our community Discord, that's like, this is only you guys will get it, or thank you, Knox. People are sharing the happenings of their lives. And like, you don't get that in any other place than somewhere like this. So
well, even really like Dad, Papa Knox, because sometimes he'll be like, who bought that? Why would they buy that? Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
No one in the chat is probably
so-and-so bought this. I says, do you know why they bought this? And then I'll explain it to him, whatever the comfort was that it brought to that person. they may have bought it for, like you were saying, you know, that it was something in their childhood, or they brought it because it brought this purpose to them. And then he goes, oh, okay, I understand that part of it. So a lot of that happens.
Most people do understand that part when they really like sit down and once they're posed the question, I think they start to realize the importance of what it actually means. It's not just an item to them.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Even though I think he's still sometimes.
We'll tell him after a show and he's just like, what?
Yeah. It's a tough concept to come to grips with, for sure.
And I think too, like the other piece I would say is like personally, I have 3 little kids. I have a 9, 7, and 5-year-old, 2 girls and a boy. And like literally them being able to see their mom and their grandma and their aunt like build something from nothing, I think is really impactful, I think, for us as we raise kids, and telling them that like the world doesn't have to look the way that somebody else always has told you. Like you don't have to do this, this, and this in order to be successful in life. I mean, I have a master's degree and I was a teacher and I did all of these things, and here I am selling stuffed animals, right? And so your life may look different, or it might take a different path, or whatever that case may be, but as long as like you find something that truly brings you happiness, and you can support yourself doing that, then do it, right? But it takes a lot of work. I try really hard to make sure, and I know all of us, especially and all of us, right, that work from home or work in our own business, you work so much. So it's really hard to be like, okay, pause life, like pause work, life now. Yeah. But I also love that they get to see their mom work, right? That they get to see me invest my time and find something I'm passionate about, right? So
they sometimes come to the shows.
Yep. Yeah. All the kids, they go to the shows, they sell, they do all the things, right? So,
and then I have kids all the way up to 24 and they'll sneak in our shows and like be watching us from, their place too. So yeah, because mine range from like 8 to 24. I have 7. So it's like, they're all over the place.
Oh, I love it.
My grown children being able to see what I do and learning from it, which has led my one daughter. She works for, she's at college, but she works for a thrift store and has learned all that kind of stuff. Working at that thrift store, kind of doing that as she's working on her degrees and stuff. But I'm having my little one, and my husband's now home, and he's able to go on field trips with us with school, and we can kind of work around that. It's been really great.
Yeah.
I'm being told by my organizer over here that we're talking too much and there's too many questions being asked.
Yeah, asking questions.
That's our Tori.
Awesome. What's the question?
Who wants to read this? Because we're broadcasting to Spotify for those that don't know. So if you want to listen back on this on Spotify, be sure to check us out on Spotify.
Cool. All right, Harley Quinn says.
Go ahead.
Besides us, what is the favorite part of your job? Unboxing, finding items. What's your favorite?
What's your favorite part? Opening the box. Opening the box.
Like Christmas morning every day.
Being in front of having the live show, being in front, not being in front of the camera, but just being on a live, being there with the chat with our friends.
Besides them.
Huh?
Besides them, they said.
Oh, besides them?
Besides the people.
Hanging out with your daughter.
She's like,
oh, hey.
She's like, I really only like the people.
She's like, hold on, no.
People I chat with.
And all that other stuff.
Mom?
She won't say this, but I think that she really loves to ship, okay? She won't say that. But she takes so much pride.
I'm like,
she takes so much pride in shipping everything.
She's automatically in charge of shipping.
And she won't say that, but she loves it.
I like to make the package special, try to put something little in it. But other than that, I mean, I want it to be nice. I want it to get there. When Charlie Bears comes to us, it's in a box. They're thrown in. Douglas, they're thrown in. We have to put in a bag, bubble wrap it, put paper all around it.
Okay.
It definitely leaves our place way better than it gets shipped to.
That's it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, we're moving on to the next one.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Ellie's going to read them because I'm
All right,
blinded
Dragon
with that.
Slayer says, what's been your number one favorite plush that comes through your door?
Ooh, good question. Uh-oh. Douglas is watching. Just kidding.
I don't have it anymore.
I know mine.
Thick
Mine was
Flux.
that Rhino Snoozle from Aurora. And we have a thing with us that we bring stuff in and it has to stay on the shelf for X amount of time before we can take it into our personal collection or whatever it may be. Anyways, we got it in. I think we got it in twice. It's sold out. And I never got one. And then we went to reorder it. They discontinued it. So I couldn't get it. And I was so sad. And it just so happened, though, I was out thrifting one day and I found it at the bottom of a bin at Goodwill.
Yay!
For $1. She found it for $1.
But,
I love that.
And I only paid $1 for it.
Okay. All right. Similar question. Destiny says, what's your favorite brand to sell or unbox?
Right now, so I think one of my favorite brands to sell is Douglas by far. Mostly because I think it's such an affordable, high quality, going to last type brand, right? They're really they're celebrating 70 years this year, so things are just getting better this year. We're just starting to get in the 2026 stuff. So that's my favorite, I would say, one of my favorites to sell. But I would probably also have to put it up there with Charlie Bears. And the reason why is because I feel like doesn't matter what shipment we get, we'll pull some things out. And I'm like, well, like seriously, like my mom says, I didn't know it was gonna be that big. Like I really didn't know. Like, and so like we'll pull some stuff out and we'll be like, oh my gosh, this is so much cuter in person, because sometimes we just take a risk. Like we'll see a static photo, especially from like a wholesale side. And we're like, I don't know about all this. And then we just hit go anyway. And we just say, what the heck? And then it comes in and it's like, oh, okay. Like I love this. So I think that would be it for me, is because they look different all the time. It's many different.
Well,
they're all
handmade. I mean, Douglas by far too, because of that same reason. But I think on the Charlie Bear side, what gets drawn to me is because they do have different lines, but their main line, it's all handmade. It's all handmade. To think that there are crafters out there that can hand make some of these items, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
It really is on that side of it.
That is
for them. Yeah.
It's a craft for sure.
Amazing.
I have one last question. I know you guys sell all plush. Do you think that you would ever expand into other toy lines or anything besides plush in the toy category as like an upsell or other high-end like Pop Mart type stuff, anything like that?
So I think that's a question we're asked all the time. And actually my daughter was sitting on the couch today and was like, Mommy, remember those squishies that I saw you can order? Like, can you please place the order and let's go? And I'm like, Charlie, like, I just don't think that that's what we're going to do. No. And can we access some of that stuff? Yes. Are we going to? I don't know. Never say never. I think that's hard to say. Like some of the brands that we carry, like they have toy pieces of their lines. A lot of the pieces that we have seen are like pieces that work really well, like checkout counters, right? They you see like all the toys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. Because the way that we run,
this is still plush.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a fun toy type of thing, but it's still plush.
Yeah.
So we tried to bring in things that were more gift related, but still along that plush line. We brought in some like baby blankets and baby like toy kind of things. So we brought in some of that gift stuff. I don't know, that will really we really feel that we've been able to niche down and to find what brings us joy.
Space.
And there you go. There's a good answer for Kim.
Yeah, there's the answer.
Somebody's got an empty warehouse that costs $0 in rent. Right? We're coming.
Yes.
We can grow as big as we want.
Yeah. I mean, as far as gifts though, I think we kind of zero in on some of our items that are really useful as a gift. More so than just, people buying a plush for their own comfort. There's a lot of items that are giftable, of course.
Right.
but maybe blind bags, but they're still
like
Plush.
Squishable does blind bags and things like that, which they're just been back ordered. So like we are planning on bringing that stuff in. Like I said, we'll never say never. I mean, who knows? I mean, we don't know what this looks like in 5 years. Could we be a brick and mortar and have something? I don't know. You know what I mean? To where that all of a sudden becomes necessary, maybe. But right now we're definitely, oh my gosh, I see the question. right now, I think, we're right on the Kim. We don't have the space for it all. We don't have Tori's over here. Me.
Yeah. I mean, even Kim said today, well, Dad won't mind, or yesterday, whenever it was, Dad won't mind if you bring those boxes in the house. Yeah, he will. Those boxes can't come in the house.
Yeah. So, for example, this
you
week,
should see what's surrounding me at the moment.
This week we got in, just this week from Sunday to Friday, we'll have received 14 boxes from Aurora. We'll have received 30 boxes from Douglas, and I think over almost close to 20 total, or 16 from Charlie Bears. So where does it all go, right? And so then you do these huge unboxings and you're hoping maybe 50% of it sells that night. Yeah. But that's where we're at right now. I think that's that growing pains part of we just don't have the space. Yeah. We don't have the space.
And tearing down the boxes, that's my job too. See, I get to tear down the boxes, put them in the car, take them to the dump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always work. It's always
with every blessing there is a burden.
Yeah, yes, for sure. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're very lucky. I mean, there's people that do much more with much less space. So it's just the type of show. Could we keep everything in boxes all the time and just run auctions all the time? Yes, right. But we are still trying to figure out how do we showcase most of our inventory so we can make it look like a store versus just running, which is where that space conundrum has come in.
Yeah. Because you guys technically are a retail store that you can shop online.
I know so many people ask us all the time, are you a real store? Can we
come there? We just tell them if they come, they might not ever leave like Tori's. So then they have to make their own choices.
Oh, hey.
Okay, I have to show you. This is what we first looked like.
Oh, I don't know if they're going to be able to.
Uh-oh.
Did you see that?
There we go. I got it.
There's our clothes we sold, and there's all of our mess.
Wow.
And then that's my husband putting up shelves.
So
that was way back when. So all the shelving in here, all this stuff.
I can see the shelves getting higher and the ladders getting taller.
Yeah,
that's what I see for you guys.
To make room for it all.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah,
but it could be like a library of Plush.
Right? Hopefully.
But it's been fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Awesome.
Hi guys.
So we're getting to the end of this podcast. I wanted to thank you guys for coming on the podcast and being a part of the experience, and also showing up for your community and allowing them the opportunity and the space to come see you guys, ask you questions. I know it's always tough. Maybe the next time we're going to have you on again. I know it. Maybe next time what we'll do is we'll bring a couple of your super fans on. And we'll have a one-on-one. I think that would be super cool.
That word is so weird to me.
Maybe we'll have a contest on Whatnot and have
there you go.
Super fan. Who is the super fan of KnoxNextDoor, and have you guys back on?
Number one
Tori
fan.
said she would win. You are KnoxNextDoor though now. You are KnoxNextDoor. You don't get to compete anymore.
Yeah, so make sure you guys are following KnoxNextDoor, because you never know what's coming next is the message. And we appreciate you guys so much for coming on. I want to remind you guys of one thing. If you can't be good at it. We'll catch you on the next podcast. Thank you for
thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
You're more than welcome. We're going to talk in just a second, so don't sign off.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.